Hello everyone, today is August 11th, 2019, Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Outside temperature is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Today I'm going to be riding down to Manhattan through Brooklyn. I'm in Astoria at 21st Street and 30th Avenue. And I'm going to make my way to Vernon Boulevard into Long Island City, crossing over the Pulaski Bridge into Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and then going on Franklin Street and Kent Avenue into Williamsburg, around the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and then over the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan. I'm using a new microphone setup today, the Zoom Wireless Go. Let me know if it's any good. Someone's actually using a boosted board behind me. They're getting more popular now. Here's Welling Court. Welling Court is the home of the street art movement in this neighborhood. Most of the artists from the old Five Points neighborhood in Long Island City moved here after the building was torn down. So I made it to Vernon Boulevard.
Right.
I just want to be extra careful because this bike lane is painted in the door zone of all these vehicles. I want to make sure there's nobody inside before I ride so close. This design is much better. There's no parked cars to deal with. That's Roosevelt Island and the East River to my right. This is Astoria's public beach, the Hallett's Cove Beach. Not a very nice beach for swimming. I don't even think it's allowed. This is the Socrates Sculpture Park. Has different rotating designs. And this is all free to the public to enjoy, the Socrates Sculpture Park. Here the bike lane goes onto the sidewalk. Here there's a lot of traffic because of this Costco wholesale store. Many people from Western Queens and Eastern Manhattan come to this Costco wholesale location. It's the closest in the area. I believe the next closest Costco in the New York City borough of Queens is in Reade Park. Here the bike lane splits two ways. You can continue on the street or go through this park here. But I like going through this park just to see everybody around.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just gotta be careful of everybody here. You may have like little kids darting out onto the bike lane like this, so. A lot of people are out here barbecuing today. It's a very comfortable weather to do so. Random shopping cart in the middle there. Now the bike lane goes back onto the street from here. And of course we have a minivan here, Honda Odyssey, blocking the bike lane in both directions. And the crosswalk as well. Here to the right of me is one of Con Edison's local facilities, the utility company around this area that serves most of New York that I know. This is 36th Avenue. To the right of me, you can go on to Roosevelt Island. I have a fun video when I visited Roosevelt Island during the Cherry Blossom Festival, and it was such a mess coming off the island. You can check that video out. Now this bike route, Vernon Boulevard, has another, on the other side of the street, has a northbound bike lane, but it's a shared lane with the motor vehicles, and I don't really enjoy going on that side when coming back the other way. It's actually much more windy than I thought. Here we have another situation where the bike lane splits into two again, following into the street or going into Queensbridge Park here to my right. This time I'll go on the street. Someone just went into the park and is doing a wheelie. Today there was also the Dominican Day Parade on 6th Avenue in Manhattan. So we may even see a lot of cars with Dominican flags hanging outside their windows. That's a cool setup. Music playing and all. Many of the immigrants who came from other countries, they're very passionate about where they've come from, and as a result, when major football or soccer teams, as we like to call them, in New York win victory, they'll go out and party and put on a big show for people driving around and having celebrations and house parties. The road over here could be better maintained. It is a bit bumpy. This is where it doesn't make sense at all. The bike lane completely disappears and then it reappears over here. Technically, the cyclist is supposed to mount the sidewalk in that area, but if there's nobody coming the other way, then it's not really worth the extra effort to go up onto the sidewalk. It's a poor design by the city to do that. This area to my left is actually the spot of a very good rooftop bar. You can get quite some good views of Manhattan. To my right is the Con Edison main headquarters in Long Island City. This is the utility company. Right here at the Con Ed Learning Center. Someone's walking their dog. Now this giant building to my right here is a city-owned building for the Department of Education. It was supposed to be the headquarters for Amazon when they came to Long Island City, but those plans fell through late last year. Here I see a metal plate coming up. I want to stay clear away from that bumpy surface of the metal plate. The company who does road work and they leave the work unfinished, they're required to cover it up with a metal plate. So underneath the metal plate is a big giant hole. Here's where Vernon Boulevard's protected bike lane ends. I need to merge with the road traffic here. Here you see the company with some spare metal plates to the side like that. It's a lot of metal plates actually. Here's downtown Long Island City. A lot of the good restaurants and bars are around here. I'm going to move a little bit to the left to avoid the door zone. This place, Bella Via, is really good coal-fired eats. And give them a check out if you're in the area. Now after this car behind me, I'm going to merge into the travel lane to prepare for a left turn because I want to go onto the Pulaski Bridge. And actually here, because it's a red light up ahead and I can't make a legal left turn, I'll just get off my bike and do the turn manually. Also checking for traffic coming straight on 49th Avenue. I don't see any, so. I am riding to the left side of this bike lane. Now I'm going on to the Pulaski Bridge. I am standing on my pedals here because I'm riding a single speed bike. To my right is the entrance to the Queens Midtown Tunnel. This connects Midtown Manhattan to the Queens neighborhood of Long Island City. And it's also a direct connection from the Long Island Expressway. If you can see off in the distance, that's the new, I believe, excuse my Polish, that is the Kosciuszko Bridge. There's a funny video I watched where they asked people how they pronounce that bridge, and a lot of people gave up and they called it the K Bridge or the Kosciuszko Bridge. But I think the Polish call it the Kosciuszko Bridge. And crossing over Newtown Creek, we get greeted by a sign, "Welcome to Brooklyn, like no other place in the world." I have entered into the neighborhood of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Even though this is a bike lane, you have to be careful of all the sewer grates. I don't particularly enjoy riding over them because they could be slippery and they have holes in the grates, so it makes it very dangerous. A quick look behind me, no cars, making a right turn signal, going onto the bike lane, which is recently repaved. Very nice, very smooth. A few weeks ago, this was all chopped up and ready to be paved, but now it's great to see that it's nice and smooth now. I'm going to make a left here onto Manhattan Avenue. This is Greenpoint's main road. Greenpoint has a lot of Polish history. A lot of the immigrants from Eastern Europe came and settled here. So you'll see a lot of different Polish influences. Here's a cool looking place, Triangolo Pizza from Napoli and Palermo. Live band there inside the Truce. If you want music, live music, Williamsburg and Greenpoint has some great places for music. Kanahashi Sushi Lounge, World of Flowers. Looks like someone's pedal went missing there. That's not a good sign. Now the construction company has some big signs up because a lot of the right side of the road is covered up in construction. Cyclists have to merge in with the traffic here. Here, I'll let this car go first because I don't see anyone behind that driver. I'm preparing for a right turn here. Driver's opening the door right into the roadway without looking, but I was prepared for that to happen anyway. I wasn't going to move all the way to the right. But it just goes to show you that there's a lot of dangers when riding in New York City. Here I'm moving into the travel lane because this bike lane is blocked by this Honda. I also need to make a left here anyway, so it's better to do it early rather than waiting at the last minute. That's an interesting place called the Land of Barbers. I like that name for a hair cutting place. Now I'm making a left onto Franklin Street. Franklin Street is a shared bicycle lane with the travel lane. Someone is listing the Metallica. Hope I don't get copyrighted for those few seconds. No one's in this car, so it's good for me to move over to the right, let this faster traffic pass. New York is notorious for having bad traffic and horrible drivers. In my experience, I found it a lot better to let the faster traffic pass and then take the lane after they pass if there's no one behind you, so you avoid the dangers of the roads on the side. This whole area, Williamsburg and Greenpoint, has changed a lot. Now you see a lot more businesses opening up here on Franklin Street. This used to be a big industrial area. A big industrial building here, empty space. Going the wrong way. You know, but you're still doing it. It's just so dangerous when cyclists go the wrong way like that, especially if they're coming from a street that's perpendicular to yours and making a turn onto your traffic lane. Now I've entered Kent Avenue. You have to be extra careful around here because there's a lot of pedestrian traffic coming to and from the bars and local parks across the street. There's also a two-way bike lane here, so people need to be extra vigilant. Here you have two public parks next to each other. One is the Bushwick Inlet Park, which is part of the City of New York Parks Department. And the one next to it is called the East River State Park, which is state-owned. Okay. Do your public displays of affection somewhere else other than the bike lane and waiting on a line for the ice cream truck. That couple got it from cyclists going both ways. The cyclist coming the other way sounded like he had a spur cycle bell, which I personally own and love as well. I am using the Crane Suzu brass bell. Here's where you have to be more careful because there's a lot of overgrown trees here which block the line of sight for many of these people, like this guy right here. But I have a red light, so. Looks like that traffic signal is broken. It didn't light green. North 5th Street and Kent Avenue. This bump was promptly shaven down after I filed a report with the city. During last year's 5-borough bike tour, there was a rider who got into a bad crash at that bump area. a lot of construction going on here to my right. Looks like that would be a office building maybe. I got a quick look at the sign, not a detailed look of it, but it's there. This building's going up. It's right next to Domino Park, which is a private public development and public park. Well, I think it's a private property that's open to the public, but I'll show you that park now. I am allowed to ride my bike there, but I have to be extra slow. There's no signs prohibiting it, so I'm making it right here, but I'm going to go around this car, making a very wide turn. Well, they blocked this entire street off. It was open to the public before, but looks like it's done for construction. This is a park that opened just last year, I believe. I think it's still very crowded. It's great views of Manhattan, everybody. That's the Lower East Side looking straight ahead. These cranes are remnants of this park's past when the Domino Sugar Factory had their industry here and factories. Here I don't want to go any more faster than a quick jog because there's just so many people. I absolutely love this playground here. For the kids, it's very enjoyable. It looks like a factory with all those tubes and cylinders. Here I can't even pass on my bike because there's so many children. It's a nice view of the Williamsburg Bridge. This Taco Cena restaurant is very famous and popular. There's a long line for it because A, it's really good, and B, it's pretty much the only restaurant in this park, so it's going to draw a lot of crowds.
Can you stand here? I'll take a picture.
Looks like the lower level is less crowded than the upper level. Some people here taking pictures. Have to be careful here because kids are losing their balance. But that upper level over there is very fun for the children. All the water coming out. This area here, they have steam coming out once in a while, the water vapor, reminiscent of the areas past. Whenever I see kids running, I stop. Someone's taking wedding pictures. They even have beach volleyball. Oh, that was loud. Right here is the view right under the Williamsburg Bridge.
Maybe then go down.
Okay, here I'm going to actually get back onto the roadway. The city needs more public parks like that. Oh, pigeon almost became feathers there. I've seen that happen before on the highway especially. Here's the beginning of Broadway or the end of Broadway, depending on how you look at it. Takes you right into the downtown Williamsburg and Bushwick and Bed-Stuy. Whenever I see joggers and runners like that, it's very hard to anticipate them because sometimes they run just as fast as the bicycles, or they could run on the sidewalk or run in the street. Sometimes they run the opposite way of traffic, which is very dangerous. Going to get a drink of water. Always good to stay hydrated. Sounds like someone's alarm went off. This is something I've never seen before. We've just entered into the Brooklyn Navy Yard section of Brooklyn, and there's shipping containers stacked right on top of each other. I have heard rumors that because of what's going on politically with the trade war and tariffs and whatnot, that a lot of shipments are being held up for longer, so maybe this is because of that, but then again, it looks like there's actually plants growing on top of the shipping containers. This area is getting built up so fast. In about 5 minutes, the area where I pass is going to be the site of a future Wegman store. It's a supermarket, and it's going to be situated at a lot of the properties formerly known as Admiral's Row, where a lot of the naval officers lived at their stations. Big spare tire over there. This is Williamsburg Street West. To the right of me is the Naval Cemetery. A lot of the naval soldiers and officers are buried in there. It's an area of silence. I'm making a right here. This area was under construction for quite some time, but now the bike lane is raised and elevated from the rest of the roadway. It's very nice. To the right of me is where I mentioned before, Admiral's Row. You can't really see too much of it anymore. It's been mostly destroyed. Only a few select buildings remain. Rang my bell there by accident. I just shifted my hand there a little bit behind me. But good to know it still works. This is the Clinton Avenue gate for the Brooklyn Navy Yard. U.S. Postal Service is blocking the bike lane ahead. You can make a left over here to go to Prospect Park. The official bike route is to make another left at the block ahead, but this route works too, even though the city removed the bike lane. But this area to my right is completely new. It's actually the site of the new New York City ferry landing. So I'm making my left turn well ahead of time, signaling to make sure the cars and vehicles behind me know that I'm going to change into that lane. Sounds like someone's birthday party is happening in that playground. Or maybe a fundraiser, who knows?
And her mother is cancer-free. Won't he do it? Let's go, y'all. Come on, Tanya's in the middle. Let's go. Where your lights at? Oh, no, you know, like the sun is out. Let's go, y'all. Come to surround me, the mother and daughter. The mother and daughter. Won't he do it? God is good all the time, y'all. Let's go.
Sounds like someone's in a good mood, cancer-free.
That baby girl
I'm all
going
for
to
that.
college. Ooh, talk about congratulations. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, y'all. Where those cameras at? Y'all supposed to be videotaping, taking pictures. Let's go, y'all.
These people may not know I'm coming. This whole area to my right still needs to be reconstructed. I did see a sign back there that there is a reconstruction of Flushing Avenue, which is this street, and the completion date is anticipated to be in October 2019. It's only 2 months away, but from the looks of it, I don't think they'll be finished on time. Look at this. This sign got completely vandalized. You can't even tell that the sign for the Brooklyn Bridge is this way. It was taped over. Now I just opened I entered the Brooklyn neighborhood of Dumbo. It's an acronym that stands for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass. The first one that started those acronym neighborhoods is Soho, which stands for South of Houston Street. And then a lot of other neighborhoods follow suit, like NoHo, which is north of Houston Street, Nolita, north of Little Italy, and Tribeca, which is triangle below Canal Street, although it's more of a trapezoid than a triangle if you look at the geometric shape. This area all to my left is low-income housing and public housing. It's headed by the NYCHA, otherwise known as NYCHA, the New York City Housing Authority. This is Farragut houses. The public housing complexes, they'll have their own police force, a dedicated police precinct just for the public housing projects. Okay, looks like I will need to make a right here because this street is closed. There's a lot of development going on here around Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, every borough of the city. That right there is a Reade moped.
I'm just leaving my car.
It's a recent phenomenon where you can rent one of those vehicles on an app for 25 cents a minute. And I believe if you go into a store and you could pause the ride, you can get it for 10 cents a minute. I personally never tried one, but I've known people who have, and it's a quick and affordable way to get around in the city. Of course, you need a driver's license in order to ride that thing, but oh my gosh, this is the cobblestone streets of Dumbo. My bike is certainly taking a beating, but riding 32C wheels helps with a lot of that. Oh my goodness. I'll just make a right here because I see there's a outdoor event going on over there. I'd rather just go to the water line and avoid it all completely if I have to. I am going farther away from the bridge, but at least you get to see the waterfront. Nice photo shoot happening over there. Dumbo is a very popular place to take pictures, especially with the views of the Brooklyn Bridge, the cobblestone streets, the waterfront, Manhattan in the background. These roads really need to be fixed or smoothed out. I'm really testing the limits of the GoPro. It's hyper smooth here. I think I'll just roll my bike through this. It's kind of too dangerous if my tire gets caught in between one of these large stones. I don't want to take a fall here. Okay everyone, that was very convenient because my battery died right before this corner. I was able to get a rest at this park here. But I'm going to turn up Washington Street now. This is the famous street that everybody takes selfies and photographs of the Manhattan Bridge with the Empire State Building through its arch. I'm photobombing everyone here. I always love coming down this street, whether it's to take pictures myself or to just look at people who are curious about New York in general. But in general, the further up Washington Street you go, up to about Front Street, you can get a great view of the shot. Let me just turn around now so you can see what I'm talking about right there. Really nice. Everyone wants that iconic view of New York that you can get pretty much anywhere now. You can buy the picture yourself without having to come here. There's even someone with a tripod set up taking pictures.
My first camera, I didn't buy it.
People talking camera equipment. That's my language right now. Wow. This little kid just standing there. If you're able to bend down really low, this is the spot you want to be. Nice picture. I hope that woman held down the shutter button, otherwise it'll be very hard to get that jumping shot. So I'm going to follow the signs to Brooklyn Bridge stairs. Not my ideal way to get on the Brooklyn Bridge, but it is more scenic this way. It's not too bad. It's only 2 short flights of stairs going up. But I know if you're wearing something like clipless shoes, it'll be very hard. But here it is, and I have to like walk my bike here. There's no easy way to do it. To be a cyclist in New York, you have to have upper body strength as well. Well, 3 short flights of stairs, not 2. This bridge is notorious for people walking in the bicycle lane and being super overcrowded. Let's see if that's the case today. I've done many silly things along this bridge, such as bringing a squeaky toy or singing. During the holidays, I even sang Jingle Bells and rang my bell according to the rhythm. I'm still walking my bicycle here. I haven't got on my bike yet, now I will. This is still the yield to pedestrian zone. On your right. On your left. On your left. ⁴ 边. That's Mandarin for left side. On your left. A la izquierda. That's Spanish for on your left. You need to be multilingual in New York City. I know a little bit of Spanish, Mandarin, fluent with English. As long as you go slow and anticipate people, this bridge isn't that bad. Lateral moves are the worst. Here's where I don't feel comfortable squeezing in between two people. Oh my gosh, someone is laying on the floor there. That's one thing I hate about this bridge. It's very hard for emergency services to get help to someone because there really is no way to move a vehicle up here quick enough. Wonder what's up with this.
Straight towards the top.
Sounds like someone's giving a tour of New York City here. And of course the people on bikes can't even stay straight either. A lot of people here on rental bikes. You can tell Unlimited Biking is the name of the local rental company. ⁴ 边. Left side. Bicicletas, bicycle lane. bicicleta, bicicleta. Automatically now I'm speaking foreign languages because most people here are immigrants or tourists. Bike lane. On your right. My goodness, no words for that fellow. Bike lane. Bike lane, bicicletas. Bike lane, bicicletas. Zissingcher, bicycles, bicicleta, Zissingcher. Here you can't give too much leeway to the pedestrians because half of their space is taken over by NYPD. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. Bike lane, bicicleta, Zissingcher. Yeah, I could have hit her right. Good thing I speak 3 languages. Or I at least try to. But I'm trying to improve my Spanish and Mandarin. They're the most popular languages in the world, along with English. Or maybe the most widely spoken anyway. I think the most popular maybe Arabic even. Now there's a bike sign that says yield to pedestrians.
How are they coming this?
Now I am, but I was not before.
People blame each other for walking in the biking lane, but it's kind of hard to do it when you got vendors like these. I thought the city was going to get rid of them or move them somewhere else, but now's a good spot to walk. Always love that vendor. He recorded his own voice and just put it on a speaker. Dollar water, dollar water. Okay, I'm going to go this way. The other way is too crowded. Get away. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go on Reade Street, make my way to the Hudson River. Shouldn't be too crowded now on a weekend. And also Summer Streets has ended. which was yesterday. Oh yeah, I love this bell. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, this bell is from Japan. A company called Crane makes it. It's very, very loud. Now the bike lane crosses over. It's really, really strange. Wonder what that person was carrying. Does that look like a metal detector to me? But once I get to the Hudson River, I'll end the video. I much prefer the bike lane on the left side of the street because the chances of dooring are much less. There's always going to be a driver in a car that's occupied. Well, like 90% of the time there's going to be a driver in the driver's seat, but not all the time there's going to be one in the passenger. Here I see cars with a folded mirror, so I don't have to worry about someone opening the door with a folded mirror. At least that's my reasoning. It's less likely to happen. That's the World Trade Center, One World Trade Center. Here's Chambers Street, going to make a right here and go on to the Hudson River Greenway. Here the bike lane moves to the middle of the road. This is the Tribeca Bridge going over West Street to Stuyvesant High School. Very long wait for this light. Of course, people are just going to ignore the traffic signal and continue on. That's why it's good to anticipate. Here's Stuyvesant High School. Now I'm at River Terrace. Unfortunately, there is a ramp that comes down here. Couldn't see it from that angle. Sounds like there's a party boat going on. But anyway, I'm going to soak in the sights and sounds here. I hope you enjoy this video from Astoria to Lower Manhattan by the Hudson River. If you enjoy this video, give it a big like, comment down below, and I'll see you all next time. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. See you all later.